I mean, what bad could happen if you follow some steps off into the woods in a creepy 300-year-old cemetery, right? I mean, I'm sure nothing bad can happen. Y'all are with me. Ramblin' Ted here. Today I went to a place called Scottsville Cemetery. It's just outside of Marshall, Texas. Cemetery was started way back in the early 1800s by a guy who moved here from Louisiana and built up quite a family deal around here, quite a little town, and quite a cemetery. It's a pretty interesting place, and I'm just gonna shoot some video and have a look around. The interesting thing here at this cemetery is the weeping angels. So we'll have a look for those. Some of the markers for the Scott family graves. Man, this is for a small cemetery in a small town. It is very, very fancy as far as the way these markers and things are. It's very ornate, very, very just kind of awe-inspiring that this much monument was done to these people. Here's the chapel on the cemetery grounds. There's Paula and Lisa over there. One of the angels of the cemetery. 1893 to 1909. That's it's not very old.
Good girl. Do some films. There you go. You're such a good girl. You're a good girl. Having an adventure.
That's that sweet doggo right there.
You being good? You being good? Yes. Yes. Oh. No. Pause. Let her pause. Good girl. Alright, you want to walk some more?
On the back of the chapel is a creepy cellar door, and the old Ted would have opened that up and went down there. But I'm much more mature, and I'm an adult now, and I'm not gonna do that. I want to, but I'm not gonna do it. Pretty sure I've seen some horror movies start off with a shot kind of like that. Very quiet and peaceful around here, though. That's for sure.
You a good girl? Do we need to have treats?
This is the Weeping Angel grave of William Scott Ury. It's definitely quite a monument. Apparently there's a Weeping Angel very similar to this, I want to say in Houston, even down to the hand being broken off, which is kind of a strange little fact, but a lot of work, a lot of time for these stonecutters that are involved in making graves like this, and people just don't do this sort of thing anymore. I'm not sure why I find so much beauty in graveyards, but I really do. Now you can look up online and look up the history of the Scott family. The man who came here and started this area, he donated a lot of money and time and manufacturing goods to the southern side of the Civil War. I don't really get into all that very much. We've made mistakes in our past. I've talked about it a little bit on some other things. I don't think that things necessarily need to be torn down, though. I think we need to remember the deeds of people and what they did in their past that they thought was right. And sometimes it's hard for me to fathom exactly how people can do some of the things that they did and fight wars for some of the things they fought for and believe in their heart that they were correct. It's part of being a human being, I guess, is to try and make sense of what came before us, and we can't always do that. But that being said, they did leave behind a really beautiful cemetery with some really beautiful and artistically done headstones and graves, and that's all I'm really caring about at this moment. I've noticed that a few of these seem to have passed away in Monterrey, Mexico in, I believe it said 1912 or 1919. And I'm wondering if there was a battle or some kind of a war down there in Mexico that these guys were involved in. If any of you know, just leave a comment, let me know. I'm always interested in learning about history. Kind of why I started doing this is for me to learn and for me to tell you guys, the little bit that I do know. Now this is something the cemetery was recommended to me by a couple guys in Jefferson, Texas, who told me about the Weeping Angels. And I don't really know a lot about the cemetery or about what's going on, with a lot of the history, but I do know that it's absolutely beautiful and peaceful here. That's for sure. I'll tell you, I've been to a few cemeteries in my time, but this has to be one of the most beautiful and peaceful and mesmerizing cemeteries I've ever seen. It is quite interesting to look at if you ever get a chance. Like I said, it's about halfway between Marshall and Jefferson, Texas. And you put it in. Now, here's the funny part. When I put it in my GPS, it took me into the driveway of the original home of the man who started this town, William Thomas Scott, I believe is his name. And it's private property, so you don't want to head down that driveway. Of course, nobody said anything to me. I turned around, but they look like they've got a nice place there, and they probably don't want a lot of people just driving down the driveway. So I would be a little careful on that. But it's just down the road. It's a little bit, I believe, north of there. So if you put it in your GPS, it'll probably take you to their house. Just keep going a little bit north before you turn off, and you'll see the cemetery on the left side. If you're coming in from the north, you'll see the cemetery before you get to their driveway. So, and it's quite interesting. It's a pretty good little outing, just a kind of a beautiful place to walk through and look at. Man, part of me really still wants to go down there. Not gonna do it though. I'm a grown-up. I'm an adult. I'm not gonna do it. It's extremely peaceful here though. Almost has a horror movie, Halloween type vibe. If I were here at dusk, would be pretty creepy. I'm gonna tell you, it would be a little bit of a creepy experience to be here as the sun's setting, and it's getting there. So I'm not gonna hang around here too much longer. Don't think that'd be a good idea. At the entryway down here, they have a monument to the soldiers buried here that died in the Civil War. A lot of people want to tear down Civil War monuments. I'm mixed on it. You know, part of me doesn't want to destroy history. I mean, I think we're supposed to look at history and learn from it. So I don't see the point in tearing down things like this. The point I see is to learn from our past, and the only way you learn from the past is to be able to see your past. If you try and hide it and forget it, it just repeats itself, and I don't think people realize that anymore. I think people always want to hide, and shame has something to do with it, and just, you know, people think that they don't want to be reminded of things that happen. But my belief is you have to know what you did in the past to learn from it. And I kind of harp on this a lot. But it's a fact. You tearing this down wouldn't accomplish anything other than hiding something. But it's kind of funny because we have one very similar to this in Texarkana with a soldier on top who's standing almost just like that. It's very, very, very similar. So it's kind of funny to come here and see this one that looks a lot like it. But yeah, I don't necessarily think monuments need to be torn down. I don't think there should be a worship factor involved. I don't think you should worship, you know, people who did these things. But I do think that monuments and things like this should stand as a testament to what we did in our past, and as a reminder of how fallible we are as men and as humans. So anyway, pretty interesting place here. I see a creepy looking old building over there, so I've got to go check that out. You know me. Okay, there's the creepy building I was looking at, and it was probably just a water pump house of some kind, but then I noticed this. Steps. And they lead off through the woods. And, I mean, what bad could happen if you follow some steps off into the woods in a creepy 300-year-old cemetery, right? I mean, I'm sure nothing bad can happen. Y'all are with me. Let's see where these go. Oh, to a creepy bridge. Well, that's just nice. Let's cross the creepy bridge. I mean, wow. Apparently there used to be a building of some kind here. And this looks like a spring of some sort. See, you should always follow the creepy steps off through the woods. You never know what you might find. But nothing too. Okay, there's something off through the trees right there too. What? More steps and a monument over here. Look at this. Do you see that? Am I getting that? I'm not. Wow. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. Look at that. Look at that. I'm safe. I'm safe. I have Paula here to protect me now. So, wow. Didn't expect to find this. All right, so I made it through the little patch of woods to this, and it's an old fountain, and it's freaking beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful and creepy. This has really turned into a Halloween theme over here. But this is a fountain. There used to be a town here. Scottsville was a little larger town back in the day, and I guess this is remnants of the old building. So this turned interesting. This turned very interesting, and there are steps over this way that lead up this hill, and I almost want to go up them, but they're very overgrown, and I'm not gonna fight my way through that. I don't think there's anything up there, not that I can see. But man, this fountain was worth the trip by itself. He's got a creepy looking look on his face too. I wonder what's around the backside. Nothing. There's a hole here where water used to enter it, right there. But other than that, this was probably part of a spring or a creek. And now it's dry. I imagine it still runs a lot of water. Man, it would be cool to be here when water was running down this. Now I'm fascinated by this. I'm kind of dumbfounded too. But that is cool. That is pretty cool. Wow. Some pretty cool wrought iron. Actually, it's not wrought iron, that's bent iron. There's some wrought iron in it. And then I heard something in this creepy pond over here, and I'm saying alligator, Lisa's saying snake. So either way, probably not something you want to run into out here. But yeah, like I said, always follow the creepy path. You never know where it's going to lead, and you gotta know. You just gotta know. One day it's going to get me hurt. I'm going to try and pet something I shouldn't and lose a hand. But anyway, it's the way it works. All right, I'm going to call it a day from Scottsville Cemetery. This has been quite the adventure, and it was more than I had planned on. I'm trying to get out of the creepy zone with the old fountain. If you're ever out this way, make sure you, right by the entrance where you come in, where the Confederate monument is, come to the back, and you'll see these flagstones, and follow them back here, because that is pretty cool. That was a cool find. I'd like to actually go up those steps and see what else there is, but not today. Not equipped for it at all. So anyway, till the next video, remember, what do I always say? Costs nothing to be nice. Nothing at all. Next time, people. Look at that beautiful puppy. That's quite the adventure partner.